Have you ever had a day where you're just so in the chatter of your mind it's driving you nuts? Just going blah, 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 and you're worried about a relationship or business or money. I was talking to my friend Jay last night, and she's in a divorce, kind of at the beginning of a divorce, and her head's going nuts on her, and she can't sleep, and she's just chattering about him and the house and the kids and the future and the finances. And so the mind loves that kind of stuff. It just goes nuts with it, right? And so we were talking about, well, what does it take to get quiet again? How do you get quiet when your mind's going off like that? And so we were talking about it. And I was talking to her about getting back into her body. It's kind of like we've got two worlds to choose from now. We can either choose to be in the chatter of the thinking, or we can choose to be in our body. And what's interesting about it is when you're thinking, you're either thinking about the past, reliving, what he said and what happened, or you're thinking about the future. It's like, oh, what am I going to do tomorrow? And let me plan out my day, and I got to do this and that. And in either case, you're not living in the present moment. You're either in the past or you're in the future. And for most of us, most of the time, we can't think in the present. We can only think in the past or in the future. So when you're thinking, you're in non-reality. You're in an illusion. You're in craziness. And the only way you can be in the present moment is to feel the present. You can't think the present moment. You can only feel the present moment. And so we talked about, well, what's it take to feel and get back into your body? And so I was telling her what I like to do is I like to first of all get solid on my feet and feel my feet connected down into the ground and into the planet. And I do this when I go walking around town in downtown Ojai too. When I'm walking around the streets, first thing I want to do is just feel my feet connected to the earth, and Ojai is a great place to do that. And then from there, my legs are straight, my back is straight, and I can feel this shaft of light that's coming up my spine and out the top of my head and up. And I can also feel the shaft of light going down through the top of my head and down through my spine and down through the bottom of my feet. And I feel really connected to myself, and I feel really connected to the earth. And I can really feel this shaft of light, and it's like I'm straight and strong and tall. And then from there I start to think about my breathing. It's breathing deeply into my gut. Have my inhale come down the front of my body deeply into my gut. And then my exhale goes up my spine. And then my inhale comes down the front of my body, and the exhale's up through my spine. And from that place, I begin to feel my gut, the core of my being, the core of my animal being, and I'm starting to feel my own body. And maybe the mind's still chattering up here and the thoughts are whatever, but I'm not there anymore. I just let that go. And I continue to just feel my body, and I continue to shift my attention and my focus down into my gut. And I feel what's there to feel. I might feel grief or sadness or joy or strength or whatever the feeling is. I just allow myself to feel it. And the more that I can feel my body and get into my body and get into the core of my body, about 2 inches below my belly button, right there, the more I can get into that, the more connected I am with my body, and the more I begin to get present with myself. And then I can actually, if I really get quiet, then I can start to listen. And there's a deep knowing, there's an intuitive voice that's whispering to me from my core. And I can actually feel it right now. I'm fortunate that my mind is very quiet right now. And I can hear, there's almost a ringing that I can hear. And I'm deeply into my gut. If I was to stop talking for a little bit, I could actually hear the whispering of my deep intuitive voice that knows everything. It's very peaceful. And so that's my trick. It's like there's two different worlds. One is this thinking, chattering world, which does not even exist in reality. It's often past or future. Or there's a world called being fully present, fully feeling right here, right now in my body.